Well, good evening, John. This is Tim Tapp from ACES, and I wanted to welcome you to the program. We're just going to take a few minutes this evening just to clarify where we're at. I know you created an intake form for us, which gave me some key information. Now, I may be looking to my right at a screen that has that information on it, so if I appear to be looking away from the camera, I apologize, but that's what I'm doing, just to make sure that what I tell you is accurate and that I'm stating what you shared correctly. Okay? Great. Well, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to tell you I couldn't be more proud to be working with you on achieving your goal, your targeted outcomes, if you will. Gratefully, I've spent a career helping people do just that, and I look forward to doing the same for yourself. So first of all, your target to be the social media financial consultancy of choice is a worthwhile goal. We all know that financial planning and healthcare have been the two greatest trends and will continue to be for the next 15 years. So you couldn't be in a better position and a better market. So I come from the healthcare side, strangely enough. So I'm glad to be sharing this time and the future with yourself. To do that and be the consultancy of choice, world class, is actually an enviable goal. So what I wanted to do was just three things real quickly. I want to clarify, you mentioned that for the next period of time that you're part of the ACES program, you wanted to increase your revenue from $50,000 to $150,000, and you specifically said during the ACES program. So one of the things that I want to make sure is, I understand that that's an increase during that period of time. The ACES program is typically 3 90-day sprints, so that's 3/4 of a year. I'm going to ask you at the end, is that again an annualized goal, reaching 150? And to back that up, is that based on your billable hours, the way you charge for the social media consulting that you do? And does that include the implementation of a course that we can coach you through within your niche? Okay? Secondly, if we were going to target or create pretty much a single focused strategy for the next 90 days, again, I'm looking over here just to make sure of my notes. What I would encourage us to do is evaluate. You mentioned about having a more manageable workload. One of the things I would challenge is, could we change the number of hours worked on a billable basis to a fewer amount, say 25% less? Increase the market that we're targeting to a more affluent one, in which you could charge more per hour or per project, however you do that. And with the savings in time, that 25% less hours, pilot a course that would test what was available to us, what would fit within the niche, and what we might be able to launch in those next 90 days. Okay? So what I would like to see us do in that 90 days, okay, that would be our overall strategy. But specifically in the next 90 days, I know you understand your business, and we'll talk about a couple of key objectives that we want to work on, and key resources, key targets that we want to have. But the big thing is, you know your business, you know what you're able to bill for, and you know what projects you produce for financial services companies. My question would be this: I would like to see us launch alongside that, for the next 90 days, a pilot course with a goal towards selling. We don't have to sell more than 2 courses. We don't want to lose our current income. We want to keep that. Plus, move towards maybe the larger company base that you mentioned. You said 20 to 100 employees. We need to be looking at the larger ones so that our billable charge is greater. So we freed up hours, charged more, maintained the same lifestyle, which you mentioned about wanting to reach, but simultaneously freeing up time, keeping your workload manageable, and creating this course. Trying to sell just 2, that's all we're trying to get, because we're not stopping your main income, your main source of income. We're just augmenting it, okay? Now, what I'd like to do specifically to make that happen, 5 steps, okay? First of all, I'd like to calculate, I think this is really straightforward, what our essentially hourly rate is that we're earning. And what that would have, how that would have to be different for us to maintain the same level of income, yet work 25% less hours on the billable side of the business. Okay? How many clients would that take? Okay? Utilize those 25% fewer hours targeting, interviewing 10 people that we think would be in our niche, that would be, part of this course that we'd like to sell, and see what they would want in the course. What we want to find is that which there is a demand for, not just that which we think there is, or we're particularly excited about that side of it, but where can we go to make this money? Our big goal with that is the fact that this type of income, course income, can be passive. And as a financial person, you understand that that means we're pretty much trying to sell it once, and then it keeps going from there. So it's an ideal fit for reducing and managing our workload and potentially increasing our income on a more passive basis. We want to do that by the 30th of August. We want to create an information page, something very simple, very straightforward, very tangible, by the 15th of September, that would let us define the course in its simplest form. The old cocktail napkin speech type approach. And then we want to pitch that course to at least 7 people by the 30th of September, because our goal is to sell 2 out of all that we worked on by the end of October. That's our 90-day plan, with now being almost the end of July. Okay? So I mentioned at the very beginning, there's just a couple things, a couple questions I had for you. And one of them is, what do you consider to be a manageable workload? You mentioned that was a key component for you. Is that workload X number of hours? Okay. Is it so many days per week that you don't wish to exceed? Or specific days of the week? Will you not work on a Sunday? Are there certain holidays that you wouldn't work? Would you not take client calls or return client calls after certain times of the day? My point being, that lets us know how many hours that we can use for the billable side, thus leaving us with the remaining to put towards the course. Also, I mentioned that I thought a plan, a strategy, would be to keep the billable plus add a course. In your targeted revenue goals, you specifically said increase 50,000 to 150,000 during the PACES program. But I'm not clear. Is your interest in just doing it from a billable standpoint, or do you want to add in the course? Create that passive second income stream, okay? And then also, we know that how much a person earns in revenue is not just a function of the number of hours they work. We know that that's a Robert Allen component called linear income. What we want to know is how much do we charge, and could we charge more to maybe a larger practice, to a larger group. Okay? So I wanted to share those quick thoughts, get your answers to those, and actually ask you, do you feel like this plan is one that you could commit to and that I'm committed to helping you achieve? Okay? So John, I look forward to our next conversation and your responses to these questions. Thank you very much.